What's up, guys? It's one of the Choice, the Omni Blade here for you guys the DLC class analysis for Fire Emblem Fates. In this video, I will be covering the 4 DLC classes that I am aware of that exist, not counting the amiibo classes. That's pretty much all I have to say this time. We've been through this Tonga dance before twice with Nor and Hoshido. It's pretty much the same deal with this. Like I said, just 4 classes. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that, based on that cough there, you can tell I'm pretty sick, and I had to rush record all of these clips as my editing software expires in a day, so I have to do all these recordings quickly, quick succession. I just happened to be sick at the time. I do think it helped me a little bit because my voice is a little bit deeper, so that's nice. But aside from that, I apologize if you hear me be a bit mucusy and different than what I normally am. I hope that doesn't take away from the video too much, but without further delay, let's get into the DLC classes of Fire Emblem Fates. Starting off with a male exclusive class from Awakening's DLC, we have Dread Fighters, a class heavily focused on resistance, as that is the only stat which this unit gets that has a growth rate of 20. Normally I wouldn't be too fond of a class like this, but this one is an exception for me. I can live with the Dread Fighters' good resistance, since this unit has good strength and speed as well. This unit does feel a bit lacking, as it has low skill and defense caps though. There's also the fact that this class got nerfed from Awakening, which is a weird thing to say because I don't know why Iz nerfed the DLC class of all things, but they did. The nerf comes from the weapon change this unit has. In Awakening, Dread Fighters were a force to be reckoned with, as they had access to a variety of weapons, namely swords, axes, and tomes. The access to magic that these units had made them absolute nightmares in battle, as this class was the pinnacle of versatility, and I loved having a unit turn into one because of this. However, Dread Fighters don't have access to tomes in Fates. Instead, they have access to hidden weapons. Now, from a gameplay perspective, this does make a lot of sense. This weapon change instantly has one pro and one con that comes to my mind. The con is that the weapon change now removes this class's accessibility to magic, and before you mention Levin swords, bolt axes, and whatever the magic kunai is going to be called, let me remind you that this class has awful magic. I mean, it's magic. It's not good. Don't even try to use it. It's not worth it. There are so many better options. Just don't try to use magic weapons with this class, or else you'll be sorely disappointed. Seriously, why is why? Now, the pro in this change is that Dread Fighters now have perfect coverage of the weapon triangle. Since hidden weapons are just like lances with regards to the weapon triangle, the Dread Fighter is now one of the most versatile units in the game, as they have the entire triangle at its disposal. Now, I haven't really talked stats because a lot of the abilities of the Dread Fighter affect its stats. The first ability on the chopping block is Hollowness, which reduces magic damage taken by 4 on even numbered turns. Second up is Spirit Unity, which also reduces magic damage by 4 if the enemy triggers battle. So already, we have Dread Fighters gaining +8 resistance. That's kind of ridiculous, but amazing at the same time. Now the third ability, I have no idea how it works. The third ability is Clear Mind, which allows a unit to recover from stat reductions twice as fast. Again, I have no idea what that means. I know that hidden weapons cause stat reductions in-game, but from what I understand, that only lasts for 1 turn. So does that mean the unit recovers right at the end of the unit's phase? So if you have an ally Dread Fighter take a hit from a kunai and has their stats reduced, does that mean just by the end of the enemy phase, it's already gone? I'm not sure. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know. But then we have the last ability, Aggressor, which is really good as it gives Dread Fighters +7 nerf from 10 and Awakening damage whenever the user triggers battle. So, all in all, this class does look very fun, but there's the real question we all want to ask. Is this class worth the money? I mean, if the idea of a resistance-oriented Dark Blood appeals to you, then maybe this class is for you. I see what you did is hide the most overpowered class in the game behind a wall of DLC. Brilliant marketing, you cheeky bastards. Looking at the stats of this class, they're just like what you'd expect from a promoted Pegasus Knight. The poor HP and defense growth stand out as glaring weaknesses, but again, it's what you'd expect from a Pegasus unit. You want to play this unit's strength, which are its speed, luck, magic, and resistance. So keep your distance, use your magic, and dodge all incoming attacks with your good speed and luck. This class is exactly what it was from Awakening, so let's talk about the main draw of this class, its abilities. The first 3 abilities are nothing special. There's Speed +2, which is self-explanatory, Then there's Relief, which restores 20% of your max HP when there are no allies in a 2-tile radius. And then there's Rally Movement, which is an awful ability in my opinion. And then there's the coup de grace of this class. Okay, this class has one of those broken abilities in the Fire Emblem universe. Dare I even say, gaming in general. However, it was nerfed somewhat, so it's not as good as it was in Awakening. But let us not deny the power of this ability as we revel in the might that is Gale Force. Gale Force grants the user an extra action if they kill an enemy unit, so long as they are neither in attack nor guard stance. This ability is broken as it allows you to spend your time killing a unit, then killing another threat, retreating, using an elixir, being rescued. The possibilities are endless, just like the power of these dark winged knights. The Ballistician Class. I know a certain European YouTuber will hate seeing the fact that this male-exclusive class has returned. Now, I'll point out the first thing that caught my eye when I saw this class, and it's that strength stat, though. 39 cap with 25 growth rate? What is this, a berserker with bows? Honestly, that might be the best comparison for this class, because aside from that strength, there's not a whole lot to this class. Don't even look at this class as magic or speed, because it's tragic how low those stats are. Skill and luck aren't really packing much power either, and the defenses of this class are very weak. So yeah, this class is nothing but strength. So why should you pay money for this class? Well, maybe it's the abilities. The primary ability of this class goes along with the main gimmick of the Ballistician. The primary ability is Surveillance, which gives the user hit rate plus 10 when using the turret command. Now, if you really want to see the turret command in action, then click the appropriate link in the description to see what it does, but allow me to explain for those who are lazy. Basically, the turret is an attack that can be fired from a safe distance and has a hitbox in the shape of a plus. So, there's the center hitbox, and it has a 1-tile radius around it, aside from the corners. The next ability is interesting as it grants free hits. Automatic Turret has a skill % chance of triggering, and it lets the unit attack an enemy in range of the turret at the start of the turn. That's really neat, as you just basically have free damage right at the beginning of the turn. It's like, turn starts, wait, turret activate, boom, dead unit. That's beautiful. Now, the third ability doesn't really make any sense to me, but I'll try to explain it anyways. Barrel Modification states that when the user is using the turret command, the turret's range is +1, yet the inner and outer range is -1. I don't really know what this means, but my first guess is that it takes the hitbox I described earlier and then makes it a single tile at a bit of extra range. Now, the other idea is that you have an all-around shorter range for the turret, but the hitbox is massive. I don't really know myself, it's kind of ambiguous, but if it's the latter, that's a really good ability. Finally, we get to the last of the Ballistician's abilities, All Terrain. This ability is 2 for the price of 1, as it grants the user movement +1 and the Lost Awakening ability, Acrobat. Acrobat allowed the unit to cross all traversable terrain at the cost of a single movement point. So, this unit will have no problem plowing down forests and crossing rapid rivers. Now, I want to go back to the question I asked before I started talking about abilities. Why spend money on this? Well, I have 3 reasons. The first reason is that you get to use a freaking tank in a Fire Emblem game, so points for anachronisms. Secondly, the Ballistician may use bows, but it can attack enemies 1 tile in front of it, so it doesn't have that drawback that most archers have. And my final reason for you to get this class may only apply to those playing Revelations or Birthright, but I feel it's a poignant one. You have access to Takumi, one of the best archers in Fire Emblem history, and if you give him access to this class, you can call him Tankumi.
Got him!
The last DLC class is a female exclusive that has existed in just one other Fire Emblem game aside from this one, and it was the second Fire Emblem game. So, just like Revenant Knight, this is a class that has since been revived from Japanese exclusive games. I mean, this is a class so old, it used strength instead of magic as a stat. Yeah, it's antiquated, I know. But unlike that dinosaur of a class, the witches and fates have horrible strength, but phenomenal magic. In fact, this magic is better than that of sorcerers and exorcists, which is pretty good. Now, of all the classes I've mentioned thus far, all of them have had a standout ability, but I think the standout ability in the witch class surpasses all the other abilities I have mentioned in this analysis. And yes, this ability even trumps Gale Force in terms of power and brokenness. But before I get to that ability, let's talk about the other ones. First off, we have Shadow Gift as the basic ability that witches get, and it grants the user access to dark magic. This is the first ability witches get, and I mean right off the bat. You use the Witch Scroll, or whatever it's going to be called, and you already have access to dark magic, or Nosferatu. Yeah, the wording on Seren's Forest says you can only use Nosferatu, but that's still one of the best tomes in the game, so I wouldn't complain too much. Just use a Witch Scroll, have the unit get this ability, and bam, all of your mages that couldn't use dark magic now have access to it, which is great. The next skill is Witch's Cauldron, which gives the user a luck % chance of getting a potion or healing item like a concoction in the first 7 turns. All in all, it's a pretty good ability. Who's gonna complain about free items? Okay, now this next ability, it gives Gale Force a run for its money in terms of balance, but there's no doubt in my mind that this ability, plus Gale Force, plus Copycat Puppet, plus maybe Astra or Breaking Sky, combined it all with Azura's singing ability, absolutely break this game in half. Warp lets the user move instantly adjacent to an ally, and move again. Let me repeat that. Warp lets the user move adjacent to an ally instantly, and move again. I wish I was making this up, because this is clearly broken. I thought Iz was trying to fix the balancing issues in Awakening, not amplify them to 11. Now, if you want to see how broken this class is firsthand, click the link in the description that I'm going to put. It shows you how powerful this ability can be. If you want to see the potency of Warp firsthand, go watch the video. Alright, the last ability is Witch's Poison, which has a trigger rate equal to 1.5 times the user's skill to reduce enemy movement to 0 for 1 turn, and decrease their void by 20 if the user triggers battle. All in all, this class has great magic, grade A abilities, and proves that in the Fire Emblem universe, women don't run the world, they dominate it. And with that, my conclusion on the analysis of the DLC classes of Fire Emblem Fates has come to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed my little analysis this time, much shorter than my other videos, but I hope it was equally as entertaining to you. So with that, if you guys can do this, I would gladly appreciate if you would like, comment, subscribe down below, and if you haven't already. And I hope to see you guys next time where I cover the 4 amiibo classes. Probably going to be a 5th one when they add Roy, maybe a 6th when they add Corrin, but there's only 4 for now, and I'm going to talk about those. Till next time, guys, I'm out of here.